So welcome to the first talk after the coffee break. So this is my first time at the Titans, so be polite to me. And yeah, as I'm not a native speaker, please interrupt me when you don't understand something because of words. Every other topic-related question can be done after the talk. We should have time for this. So yeah, my name is Andreas Mautz. I code since 1996, and I do Magento for a living for over 10 years now. And I do community, so I'm in the FireGento as a board member. And yeah, Twitter handle is over there, so you can follow me or ask me some questions. So what is my talk about? So spoiler alert, it is about testing. I've seen the slides before, so I'm sure. First, I just want to show you how easy it is to test if you don't do this. So who is already testing, like unit testing, static testing? Who is into acceptance testing? Oh, okay, good. Then I've good news for you. So we just jump into start testing. Then I just show you some lessons learned on how you can optimize your testing workflow. And yeah, the third point is how you can put some analysis and how you react on testing results and how do you make it better, probably. So why should you run tests in the first place? It's, for me, the most important stuff is testing is some kind of documentation of your work. So it's cover your ass. As a developer, if the test is green, then you are safe, kind of. And running tests just make you sleep better. So I just don't want stress in my job. So yeah, if you run tests, then you just sleep like 80 or 90% better. When you are a developer, you just use normally one browser for developing your stuff, like in the front end. And you should just cross-browser testing your stuff, because it's not normal that your code just works on every browser the same way. And there is an automated way to do this, so you should. There is even one line of code to just compare your browser screens from like Firefox and Chrome, so you could just point out the differences between it. It was just a red frame above this, so it's really easy. And you have some images to put into your documentation in the first place, so you have really like, hey, everything works well. My work was. So if something is wrong, then you can just point it to another person and say, yeah, it's his fault. And testing just saves you time and money, because yeah, it's the normal way. If you just run automated tests, then you don't have to do it manually. So yeah, it's a time saver. And of course, add any other argument pro testing if you want to. So let's start. Yeah, as I said, it's really easy. So there are different types of testing. So it's just like you have functional testing. Just do these asterisks here. Just the testing types I use in this presentation. So sanity testing, smoke testing, and so on. It's just like the advanced stuff, so we just leave them out for this presentation. And then you have non-functional testing, so like performance testing, load testing, security testing, installation testing. This is kind of the testing part where it gets complicated, because yeah, what is an install testing? It's the complete deployment of your Magento 2 shop and use an acceptance test to check if you can put something into a cart. Is this an installation test? Or is it not? Because normally when you deploy the whole thing and the job is working and you do that one test, even if it's just checking the cart and the test is green, then your installation process was okay. But normally it just tests if the install process was ready. So it's kind of complicated to differentiate between some test types. So a little disclaimer, so this talk is not about hands-on, so I will not code for you. And I will not help you to set up your local environment for testing. There are so much sources in the internet, and I will add the sources to my slides when I upload it. So, and it's really easy. Even like Magento 2 has unit test built in. So just read the documentation, start. It's just will take you maybe half a day or something, but then you're on a starting point. This is not about static testing or analyzing your code. So because these tools I will mention in a few minutes, they're so easy to use. Normally it's just like one command, one single line of code, so we don't have to get into it. And of course we need to mention PWA in somewhere if it's not about perfectly written analytics. So these are some tools to get started in testing your code on a static base. So it just looks into your files and look for like this like the code sniffer. So are you coding accordingly to the coding standards from Magento, or is your code even valid? Then I are testing stuff like the PHP mass detector or the copy-paste detector, which is, look, if you just have some function in 2 or 3 classes, and the mass detector just is looking up your quote quality. Yeah, it's just like have your documentation in it and yeah, some stuff. So it just does simple tools to get your code quality to a higher level. So as this talk is about slideshows, where's a slideshow? For a slideshow, you don't have to look at the code, you have to look at the web page, so the rendered result of your work. And that's why we have to talk about Codeception. Codeception is a PHP written framework, nearly about every single testing type you need in your daily business. Like, you can run a PHP unit with it, you can run acceptance tests, of course, you can run functional testing like API testing and so on. For this presentation, we just focus on the acceptance testing part. So there is a Codeception framework running your tests against a Selenium cluster, just running some headless browsers or chroming instances, or against just like a paid service like Browser Stack or something else. Just calling the URL, getting the rendered page, and doing some stuff. So with Codeception, it's possible to inject JavaScript into the rendered page and just get it to run. So you can do some nasty stuff with it. So this one is a really simple test. So I just have to show you something. I hope I'm loud enough without the microphone. So this is just, what is it? 11 lines of code. And this is called the home page of the Magento Swag store. Just click the first shirt it finds. Then in the product page, it selected the size extra large. And then click on the add to cart button. And then it looks up if there is a message you added the colored shade unisex black shirt to your shopping cart. Then it goes just to another URL directly. Then we just select the size L for the next shirt, and then we just put it into the cart and check again if there is a message. So this is the first test, and you just have to run it with one single line of code. So, and then it just do some magic, like the Selenium cluster is called, there's the Chrome instance going up, or Firefox or whatever you want to test. And then you have a result. For your normal deployment pipeline, like if you have GitLab or some other CI tool, the output should be like something like XML or whatever your machine can read. For us as a human, we love to have overviews. So there is a result page, like an HTML, wonderful thing, which has an overview of every single test, and then you have just a summary. Oh, it's a little bit unclear, but every single line of code is just in the result. Every single line is just one output of the test code line. So it says, I am on the page, root, I click, colored shapes, unisex, and so on. And the above is the failure, so it's just red, so red alert. And here it's, of course, I've just faked it, so I want to select the option 4 times extra large. And Magento doesn't support the size, so it's on failure, and I have a screenshot of the page where the failure appears with the message, what goes wrong. So this is one kind of codeception overview page. The other one is finally the slideshow. So you have like a recorder page where every single command is pictured, and you have like a slideshow clicking through every single step, like I am on page, I click this, I look up for the message, and so on. And this is just like, I see you added Magento 10-year anniversary t-shirt to your shopping cart, and it's the message above, just the screen, ready. So everyone just can look up the test after it's done and say, oh yeah, this is my customer journey and everything's green. So these were the first tests. It was too easy, so of course there's more. So tricks on testing. So just some lessons I learned from testing on the hard way. We've done some heavily testing in a huge project. So, but first, what do we have so far? So we just a ton of testing tools, just a list of like 20 names. We have a huge amount of to do if we want to start testing and till now. So, and we have I don't have to swear, so a week-long running pipeline. If you test everything like 100%, like PHP unit test, complete Magento, your stuff, front-end testing, static analyzer tools, mesh detection, copy-paste detection, everything, then you don't get code live because it's just testing. Yeah, you know this old XKCD comic where the CEO is asking these guys, what are you doing? And they just start fighting on a chair and they say, it's compiling. Yeah, the new one is just, it's testing. So, so don't do that. So the first lesson I've learned is use your sleeping time. So let computers do the work. If you do testing on nightlies or weekly builds, the huge testing time will take place not in your daily business time. So it saves you the struggle to get a test green to go further into your project or doing the next issue. The second lesson is, hell to the Pareto principle. Anyone don't know the Pareto principle? The 80-20 rule? So it's just like if you do 20% of the important stuff, then mainly you hit 80% of your problems. Or in software projects, it's just like 80% of the work is done in the first 20% of the time, then the last 20% to 80%. But this is, if your clients, customers are used to just like use 80% of the Safari browser, then don't do tests with the Chrome in the first place, just test the Safari because it's nearer to your problem. When you, when you have access to the analytics API of your customer, just grab the data. So what devices are they using, what browsers, what resolutions. So you just need some information to focus on some small points, to just get rid of these, I have to test 100% of the whole system all the time. Lesson 3 is, parallelize all the things. So if you can't multitask, there's a cloud thing that can do this. So just pay a service for that. Yeah, like Browser Stack or something else. The Browser Stack allows you to test up to like 250 tests in parallel. Of course, it will cost you like 7,000 euros a month or something. If you have own DevOps, it's really easy to get up a cluster with like Kubernetes or some other container stuff to just parallelize everything. So we have like a 25 euro bare metal machine somewhere in one of cheap hosting stuff in Germany, and we can run up to 10,000 testing minutes on a night. so for 25 minutes, and it's just can run like 50 parallel tests. So it's fair enough to do these 20% of testing for the 80% of the results you want to have. So lesson 4 is focus on the ongoing project. It doesn't bring you nearer to the goal of getting code live if you just start every single test type and set hard limits, like everything has to be passed at a level of 100%. So you just get stuck in the whole project, and I don't have to swear, and you are hazing your developers. And there's nothing more unproductive than hazing your developers with hard borders on testing results when they are just focused on getting code done. So just make like soft borders in the first place, start with one type and then one step after another, because your code quality gets better even if you start simple and take one step after another. So you don't have to make the skyscraper step to just get ready with 100% testing. So you shouldn't just focus on the project. The fifth lesson is gaining speed in the process of optimizing testing is really fun. So the first time I train my developers at my agency to just use testing, it's just like, oh, okay, another duty I have to do, and then it's get better and better and better, and then the testing is just a normal process of your daily business. And then the second step is just like get better at tests. So like don't make a screenshot of every single click you do or of every single line of code, just select the important stuff. So you make an image in a virtualization, or even with the Selenium stuff, it just takes time because you have to make an image, you have to render it, you have to save it on a hard disk. Just think about how you test. What do you want as a test result? Yeah, it's enough to have just one screenshot of your homepage and everything's green, or do you need like, I have this fancy menu and I want these flapping effects in it, and I have to look at it. So then you have to make a screenshot out of this particular part. Then it's not enough to just screenshot the homepage. So, and this is the place where then time and money is saved, and you get to, you're getting the fun in testing. So in level 6 is compress your results. So when your test is green, it's fine. But when you test your page speed and you have just the result of 80, so what is 80? Is 80 better than live? So is your new release better than live, or is it even worse? So make it comparable to the live version, to production, or to any other version. And compressed results like over browsers, over resolution. So like you can look into the details, but you have just like Chrome is green, Firefox has 2 issues. That's enough for an overview. You don't have to spread out everything and say, I have run 1,025 tests and 2 of them are red. And then you have to go through 1,000 tests to just get to the 2 red ones. So that's not efficient. So, and coming back to the first part from the first slide, it's just like when you have test result data and you can put it into the relation to your current production status, and it's kind of a documentation. So you can documentate how you are getting better with just like site speed results or whatever. And then you can see your progress. So hopefully it's getting up and it's getting down. So, so enough lessons learned like for a 20 minutes talk. These are just the 2 first steps to get into this normal topic of how to make a slideshow. So of course there's more. So last step, finally, slideshows. So how you use your deployment pipeline to gather insights and just not build code and move it to someone production or whatever. So hopefully you have a like build pipeline or a CI system or whatever. So you have just like a huge infrastructure which are doing things which you can steer. So build something in it to get insights, get like metrics about your page speed, Apache benchmark, whatever. And if you just put them together, you get something like a project overview. But this is not the one you want, because this is just too easy. Just doesn't say anything at all. It's just like when your website is up and you monitor your website and everything is green, but even the maintenance page is green for the monitoring, then you don't have to monitor anything. So we have a look at some real faked overview page. If I get these to work. No. Hello, computer. There it is. So this is one faked type of project overview tool we build up on our own. So you have just like, of course, Mage Titans page is not an e-commerce system. So we don't have calculated like a general project launch, large category pages, small category pages, and product pages, and so on. And of course, all these metrics nearly are faked, beside of the Google page speed and the speed test IO and the Apache benchmark that was run yesterday. So this is an overview page, and you get like, in a few seconds, you get a complete overview how the project is, how healthy the project is. And these are just some metrics like you have BI stuff, like how many orders an hour, and we just grab them from a production side. So we just measure how many orders just get into the shop by hour and just compare it with the last hour, with the last 24 hours, and so on. And so we always have a kind of like a fever curve from the shop. And then we have just like revenues per day, per week, just to see if something is wrong on the long tail. Yeah, there may be problems which aren't aware every day or just appear like once in a while. And when these numbers are just getting worse, then you should have a closer look at your shop. So here are just like some other metrics, like new customer, new newsletter, and then this is some performance stuff. Performance stuff is just like siege testing, Apache benchmark testing, speed test IO. Speed test IO it's so easy. It's just like one single line of code. So you set up a Docker container, just run in the Docker container a speed test against the URL you have given in the command, and then it just turns back whether just some metrics or a complete overview. So you can just look at it like a human and scroll through things and getting tips to make it better. So, but we need just one number of it. But you have the whole test run, so you have every metrics available. And then we just check, of course, code quality. Yeah, I don't have access to the Mage Titans page, so tests are not run. So then we have log files. So normally, this of course is faked, yeah. But we try to not get a log file in an e-commerce system like Magento over 4 megabytes on a day. Because otherwise, it's just like the fever curve, yeah? If it's just getting big, then you have problems. So we used to have shops which we just overtake, and they have just like 3 gigabytes of log files. So it's nearly impossible for like a human without any tools to get really into these log files and get the problems from the shop. And if your log file is this big, then I just assume that you don't care about the system, because otherwise it wouldn't blow up system logs or exception logs. So we just look at the file size and we count the exception per hour. And then the last one is just the database status. So how is the InnoDB set up? So is the buffer pool size in the config right? And just some metrics against the MySQL database. Every single part here is more or less 2 or 5 tests on a commands base. So just like, yeah, the system log file is just, yeah, get the size and bring it back. But just like the revenues per day and everything, it's just like a set of commands we are running, then we compress the results and then we push it into this overview. But we just save the details. So we can always have a closer look on what really happened there. And then we have to scroll something, and then it's just like the acceptance test summary from the conception tests. And here, just like the first one is the difference between browsers. So we just check every image against each other on the same resolution, like on the Chrome on HD and on the Firefox on HD. And when there is a problem, then just ImageMagick just tells us to say, yeah, I found one image, which is not the same in Chrome than in Firefox. And then we just have a counter here. And then we can click on it and we see that just the image with a red part where the browsers are not the same. So, and the rest is just like single tests. So we just have the Chrome in 1024, we have Chrome mobile, portrait, Chrome tablet landscape, and so on. And here you have, oh, I don't know if I can click it well. Oh, no. Fancy. So if you click on this Bericht, of course it's German, then you have, yeah, this one. So this one from the slides where I just point a screenshot. So you just can click through it, yeah. So in the normal case, you just have every single test case just compressed and just below, so you just can scroll so you say, hey, okay, I have just three red tests, and the rest is green. You have a summary, which we use for gathering the data for the dashboard. And the other thing is these slideshow, finally, where you just have every single test page. Of course, this is not responsive, but I think that this is the conception framework. So, yeah. So you can scroll through the whole site, and the HTML from this test is saved. So you can just open the site with everything else, CSS, JS, at this point. So you can easily debug things when they are broken. So, and this is just a small slideshow from like 3 pictures. But if you just test like a whole user story running around just your whole shop, like visiting the homepage, searching something, click a product, and so on, going through the cart, then you have just like 450 points to click through. So it makes sense to just think through the whole process of making screens for this. So, and I have to hurry a little bit, so I'm running out of time. We've gone through this. Yeah, and this. So, yeah, conclusion. It's really easy to intensify your testing game. Even if you are not testing at all, you can start like in a day and have good test results, which brings you a little bit further, and which are just saving time and money, because yeah, that's what we want to do. So if you just have more time to code and less time to handle afterwards, yeah, you are happier. And uprising your code quality, yeah, isn't one of the of the worst ideas you can have. So yeah, just stick to it. And testing stuff as a culture of yeah, like a company culture. You take care of your coders, because if the whole project is being tested, the weight on the shoulders of a single developer getting less, yeah, less. And yeah, one of the last points is, yeah, make a dashboard, like collect data and make it usable for each like on each level in your company. So the developer should just get the test results for his tests in the daily business. Your CEO should use like a dashboard combining every dashboard from every customer or something else. Yeah, so you just compress the data as you're going up in the company. And the last point is use it for feedback. Talk to your coders with these results, or talk even to your clients. So we use these slideshows to get to the customer and say, here, this is your shop on an iPad. So just click through it and look if this is really the way you want to have your site rendered on an iPad. Otherwise, you just have to give us money so we can fix it. It really works. So, yeah, bonus slide feedback. I just have no time for it, so we have to skip this, but you can ask me afterwards maybe. So any questions?
Oh, yeah, Lukas always has a question.
Yeah, I'm here to ask questions. Yeah, but it will be quite difficult. 1 second. Okay, so we have a tool called Magento Functional Testing Framework, and it provides you, reusable possibilities of building running tests, acceptance tests in Magento. And it's currently available with 2.6 version. It will be available in 2.3.0 version. So why don't you use the existing solution? You use Codeception yourself.
Yeah, it's just historically growing up. So we try to switch. I think it was on the early 2.2, and then there was some tests which are broken. So, and then we just using our own stuff because it just runs and it was growing up. So yeah, we try to switch to the built-in versions, but by now the projects are so heavy loaded that we have to stick to our system because we have to do stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So second question: are developers writing tests for the solutions?
Yes, like unit testing and so on, of course. Yeah. It's a job.
But we talk about acceptance testing.
We used to let front-end developers write acceptance testing once in a while, but just if they do new stuff. So like flipping freaky menus or something, so they just have to think out of the box and from the perspective of a customer to use their code. And if you just write acceptance tests, you have to think like a customer. I have to click this, and then I want this to happen. And so once in a while, but normally it's just like on the level like a project manager or something, because acceptance tests just took you like 2 hours a week for the new stuff to just get to stay on track with testing.
Okay, so thanks. And I would like to say that in 2.3.0 it will be much better with MFTF, so I hope you like it.
So,
hey,
thank you.